Knights Templar in Scotland, The Creation of a Myth, by Robert L. D. Cooper, published in June 2002 in the Transactions of Quater Coronati Lodge of Research 2076, Part 7 and the last. Before commencing the discussion regarding Robert the Bruce, the Battle of Bannockburn, etc., there is one subsidiary point which is specifically relevant to Scottish Freemasonry, on which comment is desirable. Almost without exception, those who hold to the alternative view mention that the Battle of Bannockburn was fought on the 24th of June, and that this date is in some way significant. The 24th of June is the feast day of St. John the Baptist, a day observed by the Knights Templar. It also has significance for Freemasons, being the day chosen for their annual celebration. But the attempt to link Freemasonry with the Knights Templar because of an alleged coincidence of annual feast days is doomed to failure. Firstly, most historians concur that the Battle of Bannockburn was fought over 2 days, the 23rd and the 24th of June. Secondly, the feast day of St. John the Baptist is but one of numerous feast days which were observed by the Knights Templar. Indeed, the medieval order was particularly devoted to the Virgin, to whom all other saints were, of course, subordinate. The use of St. John to link Freemasonry and the Knights Templar is common. Quote, John the Baptist was patron saint of both Knights Templar and Freemasons. Close quote. From this assumption, it follows, therefore, that his feast day, 24th of June, has special significance for Freemasons, and this is probably true everywhere except in Scotland. The assumption here is that English Masonic history and practice is the same as in Scotland, and is a demonstration of how some can be led into error. Many writers do not differentiate between stonemasons and Freemasons. Links between stonemasons and Freemasons can most easily be traced in Scotland, but documentary traces of these connections do not exist until about 1599, when the first records of a lodge of stonemasons commence. Even that date has to be considered guardedly, for it is not until 1634 that the first non-stonemasons are recorded as joining a stonemasons' lodge, in this case the Lodge of Edinburgh. There is, therefore, a period of 320 years where there is no known evidence of any connection between the two, that is, between the earliest creation of Freemasonry by Robert the Bruce and the earliest lodge records. More importantly, there is no evidence whatsoever that what 17th century stonemasons did in their lodges was what stonemasons had been doing earlier. Therefore, not only is there no contemporary evidence of a link between the medieval Knights Templar and modern Freemasonry, that is, a period from about 1314 until 1778, but there is also no direct evidence of a link between stonemasons and Freemasons prior to 1599. The reason why 1598-1599 is something of a historical turning point is amply explained elsewhere. What evidence there is relating to Scottish stonemasons prior to 1598-1599 is not found in lodge minute books, but in local and national records. These supply us with some insight as to the lives and activities of Scottish stonemasons. In 1475, the masons and wrights, that is, carpenters, of Edinburgh were granted a seal of cause, which incorporated them into an officially recognised body. It granted the incorporation and wrights and masons certain rights and imposed certain responsibilities. The one that is of interest here is that stonemasons became responsible for the maintenance of the Isle of St John the Evangelist within St Giles Church, Edinburgh. From the time when the First Lodge records begin until relatively recently, Scottish lodges have always held their annual installation meeting, often their only recorded meeting, on the 27th of December. The emphasis on the 24th of June as a significant date linking Freemasons and medieval Knights Templar in Scotland simply does not apply.
This podcast is for educational purposes and perhaps entertainment. While the Masonic Authors Guild International provides the most accurate information possible, listeners use the information at their own risk. This podcast and its contents are Magi's property, as are all the opinions and the information it presents. Robert L.D. Cooper's, Mark A. Tabert's, and any other speakers' views and opinions within the podcast do not represent nor speak for Freemasonry, any Masonic organization, their former or current employers, in any way, shape, or form. Magi, Cooper, or Tabert will not compensate you in any way whatsoever if you ever happen to suffer any inconvenience due to the information herein contained.